start. I wonder if I can shrink this down some. It says it's excellent condition. That's good. It says we're 6 seconds in, 8 seconds. Hey, I can see the thing. All right. Cool. Trying to set up my screens here. Hang on. Anybody that's coming into this thingy? Oh. Hey, I might have found a good configuration. That works. Hello and welcome. For anybody who's going to be watching this after it's live, welcome, welcome. I am about to turn this thing around and get these things joined. Is that better? Does it need to be further back? Okay, so we are about to join the two sides of this bag to make it a cylinder so that actually becomes a bag. This can get a little bit tricky here because you have so much string that's suddenly in one space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little plastic bit that I've been keeping around for ever and a day and put that in between. So go like that, and now I already have this up in front and ready to be joined, and then I can join the other side as well. So my easel is not exactly the most perfect for this, but it's not terrible. So I have two clips going on because I want to have the two pieces held nice and in place while I get this thing joined. That's a really big thing with this. All right, now, so since this is red on red, it doesn't matter which direction I go. But for now, I think I'm just going to go with knots going to my left. Kind of feel like there's almost too much light. Let me see if I turn, whoops, turn that down a little bit. That looks a little bit better. So that's lighting. That's a big thing. Even if you're not trying to do videos, make sure that your lights are bright enough to work, because I would hate to think that I'm teaching you guys to make stuff only to have you guys destroying your eyesight. There are certain things that you should look out for when you're actually making this stuff. One would be make sure that you're well lit and you're not causing eye strain. Another is that you've got good posture, so that way you're not going to end up all hunched over and stuff in your later years. Oh, and don't clench your fists, your hands really tight, because that can lead towards carpal tunnel. So those are 3 things you could do to actually help make sure that you don't end up suffering as a result of your art. So, welcome people. Hello. Say hi if you can. I suppose if you're viewing this off of your cell phone, I guess making comments might be difficult. I don't know. But hello and welcome. This bag that I'm working on just joined here. Pretty excited about this one. This is similar to the one I did for like the New Year's. So if you wanted to see the patterns and stuff, that's over on my website, akaawol.com. What I like about this one is that the colors are a little bit, the red is more muted, kind of like a rusty color red. So I think that kind of gives it a a whole different look. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think being excited over projects like this is what helps to keep your mind in the game of, like, keep working on these things. If you kind of have a ho hum attitude, then you're just not going to put your heart into it. And I think that's what happens to a lot of people. That's why they have projects that get shelved for so long. They just don't have that feeling of, wow, I can't wait to see what happens next. And I have that all the time. Even if it's a pattern I've done like this one, I still want to see how this one's going to turn out. And even though I've only just joined this together, I'm already thinking, like, how am I going to make the base on this? What am I going to do to make this thing kind of, be finished project and turn out nice. So, and I think that's kind of important to actually think about those kind of things if you're going to work on huge projects, because let's face it, if I mess this up, it's a lot of string. So there was, let's see, 24 per loop times 6. That's what, 6 short of 150, so 144 strands. Okay, Google, what's 144 divided by 3?
The answer is 48.
So there's 48 skeins of floss in this. So I don't know what floss goes for in your area, but 48 skeins, if I was to buy that at a local shop, that would cost me $48. So possibly just slightly more. I'm not sure if that was, when I saw the prices, if that included tax or not. All right. So you can see now, I'm just going to try to get these two sides really joined together well before I kind of move any further on. This little area here is like the weakest link at this point. So I'll concentrate on that. So today has been a rainy day, which is kind of nice. I mean, at least it's not super, super hot out or anything. But gosh, it just makes me want to have a nap. I really could just go to sleep right now. It's 8 o'clock in the evening though, so it's a little early for going to bed. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. It can be obscure, it can be, favorite color, or it could be question on anything you like. So quiet. So quiet I can hear the rain in the background. So there are 5 different shades of the blue making the fade. I recommend, if you're going to do a fade, try to find the colors that have the same amount of a difference between each of them. This one is a little bit, this blue, the second darkest blue, is a little too close to the darkest one for my liking. If it was like based on numbers, you would want like 180, 60, 40, 20, kind of thing, where there's a nice even whatever between it. But those two are relatively close together. It still works, but it does get a little bit hard when you first go to set up because you really have to like get in the right kind of lighting to see the difference between the two things. So that that can be a challenge. Seriously. In those cases, I definitely recommend doing it in daylight. That's the easiest, less strainful way of doing it. So my hope is I will finish this bag this week in time to have it for a Friday video. I already have one segment of video for the loops put together, but the question is, can I finish the whole bag before the week is out? And my hope is yes. And I really, honestly, I think I can do it. I really do. It's just a matter of how many other distractions and stuff come in. Right now, I have my mother-in-law in the hospital and my father-in-law, who has Alzheimer's, is missing her, and he's kind of acting up a little bit because he misses his wife. And I kind of get it, but there's nothing he can do, and it's trying to get that idea into his head that there's nothing he can do, to just relax, say a prayer, you know, or we can't go visit. So might as well just, you know, take a time here at home, and, you know, maybe if he prays or something, he can at least feel like he's doing something positive. All right. So in this pattern, I noticed that you can kind of, anywhere there's a high point, you can work on that area for a considerable amount of time. And I find that if you just take these little segments, you can really knock out some stuff relatively fast. I like that a lot. As far as patterns go, this one probably looks the most complicated and is realistically not that complicated. It's still advanced. It's still using knots to go in all directions, but it's because it goes 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, and then that's just continues from the 3, 1, 2, 1. Right? That you can actually make this without actually having to spend a whole lot of time looking at paper. So all right. So YouTube says there's like 4 people watching. I would love to know where you guys are from. I'm always fascinated with things like the time zones, as well as, if English is your first language. Because I was surprised. I met somebody yesterday from Hungary who spoke perfect English. So I thought that was pretty neat. Chance to learn about the world while I'm tying knots. I'm going to bring this little diamond thing up all the way to this dark blue. So yeah, they say that the climate change changes the weather, and I think that today is actual serious proof of it. I've been in Singapore for 10 years, And this is the first time I've ever seen it rain from morning till evening. Typically, we get a heavy, heavy storm. It lasts for a couple hours and it's over. We've never, in the 10 years I've been here, I've never seen it rain steadily all day long, which is pretty astounding. So, trying to work through that sleepy feeling, drinking a caffeinated beverage here. Ah, that's good stuff. So, still want to hear from you guys. I want to, any kind of questions. Or if you guys maybe have ideas of projects you'd like to see me work on, that's a topic we could discuss. If you guys have a particular pattern or something you can't figure out, or I don't know. Kind of really having fun with this pattern though, I have to say. So this has got 5 shades of blue, so I would have to do some serious changes if I wanted to, say, do this with like a rainbow. With the 5 shades of blue, I was able to get the pattern to repeat itself in within 3 loops. That's why I was able to get away with having 6 loops, which makes this a relatively small bag. Mind you, I say it's small, but let's see. Grab my phone here. So yeah, it's way bigger than my phone. If I made it long enough, then yeah, you could have a little bag that would actually be able to carry around the one thing that you would want all the time. I just realized you could see my shirt in the reflection. That's hilarious. Uh, but yeah, this is actually a really good size for something like that. Now, mind you, if I use DMC floss for this, this bag would be considerably smaller, even if you have the same exact number of strands, right? If you had 144, it would be a lot smaller. And I know that seems like string is string, but just a tiny bit on every single string adds up to being a considerable difference. So when you're setting up to do projects like this, kind of test out with, like, say, a bracelet, and then figure out like how many of that bracelet do you need to make the bag of your such the size that you want, essentially. All right. Now I can bring these ones down. It's actually coming along really nicely. So, if you were here yesterday watching some of the video, you would know that basically yesterday I started with joining the loops together. And already today I have it to where the whole thing is coming along fairly quickly, I think. See this one, because it's 3, 1, 2, 1, and this one is a 3. It basically have to go 4 strands are coming out this way, and it's on the 4th one that you double back on it. Hey, hello, hello. Welcome. Nice seeing you again as well. Nice to have somebody talking. It's been super quiet around here. I've been trying to think of things to say. I've made a lot of progress. Okay. Now I kind of have to work more in this area because there is nothing for me to attach these to. So change my focus now. Yeah. Thank you. It has. I've actually joined it around. There's a piece of plastic here. I was showing them when I first started. So that way I can kind of keep the strings that are in the front to the front and the ones in the back from being picked up and accidentally um, knotted into the wrong spot because obviously same colors. Thank you. I like it too. I really, I do think it's beautiful. But thank you. It's nice to hear somebody else think that. It's one thing to think that your work is good. It's a whole nother thing to hear other people say something. So I do really appreciate that. So, no, keeping really busy over here. Just talking about this weather though. Wow. Raining all day long. One of the big problems for me when it comes to this kind of weather is its effect on my sinuses. I'm definitely not enjoying that at all. So, this was the part where it got joined. I'm trying to at least get up to where all of the um, pattern is up to the big diamonds before I kind of push on to doing the next rows or whatever. I'm honestly not quite sure how long I should make the bag. I don't think I can make it long enough to fit my phone in without having to add string, but I think I can still make it pretty decent sized, like big enough to hold a wallet and, maybe some other stuff as well. Green, huh? That could be. So how would you do it? Would you want to have green as your background and then put something over top of it? Or would you do, hmm, I could picture this with a green. And then maybe like a nice forest green is the background. And then like a yellow green to maybe, I don't know, maybe like an olive kind of a fade going through it. That would look really nice. Yeah. Of course, you come up with these ideas right after I just got, what was it, 8 kg of embroidery floss. I could look through there and see whether or not there's enough to do it in a green project. But yeah, to make bags, honestly, you kind of want to have like all your stuff figured out like in advance. Ah, yeah, I could see doing this. There's so many different possibilities. That was what got me when I first started making friendship bracelets when I was like 19, I guess. And was the possibility of how you could put so many different kind of colors together and how different colors create different moods, different feelings. So the same pattern with say black and red and yellow and stuff would come out with a much more, like almost a violent tone, I think. Whereas other colors can be soothing and like like a field of green and stuff is a very soothing kind of feeling. It's always fascinating to me. Well, heck, just between say this one and this, it's it's hard because the light I don't think really picks it up, but the bright red of this one just jumps out so much harder. This one, it's uh it's a much more soothing kind of a look. All right. Now, so I don't know if you guys can see this, but the bracelet's getting kind of pulled. And by kind of just giving it a little pull down this way, I can kind of square things up. And that's how the flow of the whole thing seems, really good without me having to actually sit and like painstakingly go over every single knot. If I see it starting to shift funny, I can either take and unclip it or shift it and clip it again. And that's how I get nice, even looking knots. So, Brigitte, have you ever tried doing like a large project? Have you ever made like a bag or anything really big? It's okay if you haven't. A lot of people that watch my stuff haven't mustered the courage, I guess, to tackle a big project. Ah, good. That's good. Good to know. Yeah, when I was younger and making these, I made a bracelet that had 7 loops to it with 16 strings in each one of them. And I wore that for a while. I loved that bracelet, but couldn't convince anybody else to buy one. Well, if you ever get inspired by my stuff, tag me with the inspired by akaawol, so that way I can potentially use it in future videos. I've There's a number of amazing people out there who have used that hashtag, and I keep meaning to get the pictures together, and but I will get around to it. Oh, you have? Okay. Uh, what's your um? What is your Instagram name? Oh, is she the one that did the bag that's did you make like a bag that's like almost the size for your phone kind of thing? It's hard to tell with the little icon from the YouTube. I can't make out like a who is. See now I have a yeah, I know which one you are. Brilliant. I think I actually have used yours in a video before. Do you know which one it is? If you pull up the hashtag, I can point it out. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's cool. Small world. Yeah, I have to honestly say that um, when it comes to names, I am absolutely terrible. I and especially between like different medias, you know, from Instagram to YouTube to whatever. Everybody's got different icons and stuff. That's why I try to use the same picture of me buried in my floss between Instagram, YouTube, and my Facebook. Is at least when you see the name and stuff, you're like, is it that guy? And you see the picture, you're like, yep, has to be. Because, you know, who else would be so silly as to have enough embroidery floss to bury themselves in? That'd be me. Hello. Ah. Yeah, you kind of got me now wanting to do this whole pattern in green. Or maybe one of these, right? That might look really fun in the right kind of shades of green. I got a little obsessed with that pattern a little while ago. All right, let's see. Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you very much. Yeah, I did a video on that bracelet, and it has a corresponding web page with patterns and everything over on akaawol.com. Um, if you look on the YouTube thing, it would be it's I know I used the word obsession. I just because I was obsessed. I made like 4 of those bracelets. One was given away to one of my Patreon subscribers as the winner for January's lucky draw. So yeah, kind of one of the benefits of being a Patreon person. You stand a chance of winning cool stuff. Well, that's not the only thing. There's a lot of other stuff. I tend to try to post over there every day. Just, you know, little insight as to what's going on or what my plans are or whatever. Which reminds me that I'll have to do that after I do this video. Normally I try to do it beforehand, but I got excited. It's a fun bag. I wanted to see it put together. I also kind of want it done by Friday, so kind of feel a little pressure for that. So, not bad at all. So everybody's back to being quiet. Again, if you guys have any questions, holler. Or if you have any kind of like need help with an idea for your own project, if I can help, I'll do what I can. Even if it means like having to send you something after the stream is over, that's fine. I just helped somebody over on YouTube who was interested in making a messenger bag, asked if that was possible. So I sent them pictures of one I had made already. An alpha. Oh, I made an alpha bag. This is my alpha bag. Well, let's see if we so you can get better idea of the size. But can I move this out a little bit? There we go. So yeah, this is the alpha bag. I started out with a regular on the where the loops came in, and then tried to make it as random as possible. And you might want to check out the video to it because um, I actually discovered some pretty neat ways of making it so that way when you go all the way around, that where it comes back together, you don't end up leaving a gap. So yeah, it turned out exactly how I thought it would. Oh, and the base of it is pretty cool. So yeah, you might want to check out that tutorial. That was a lot of fun. And as far as projects go, that would be definitely pretty easy. Yeah, considering what you've already been able to put together, I think you'd have no trouble with this one at all. Ah, so that is a coffee type thing I'm drinking there. That is so yummy. Some days I feel like I run on coffee. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so yeah, if you're in the alpha mood but you still feel like doing a bag, it's good to know that like there is options. I had kind of looked around before I actually made that video to see whether or not um, anybody else had anything kind of like it, and I did not find anything. So I kind of felt that that was kind of fun and unique. So I'm almost to the point where I have this whole first band put together. I think I think I'm gonna go for 3 bands. I'm not I'm not really sure. I'm trying to remember where I started running out of string on the other one. Because again, I don't want to add any more string. I'm really low on this blue. I had it all this blue was all cut up when I was making the other bag, and ended up not making it as big as I could have. And so I had this left over, and I thought it would be good to use it up. Hey, it's the revived Newt is back. Hello. I don't know how to say anything in Japanese, so I can't even like have a cool comeback for that. Very cool. Good evening. But see, if it was like Chinese, I could say ni hao. Yes, I am making some good progress. I've got it joined together already. That's what I started with. I actually brought these 2 pieces together, and this is the area that I'm joining. And I did all of this in 38 minutes. I know that because that's what the little clock thing on the video thing says. Yeah, making real good progress here. Oh yeah, Mr. Beast is amazing. He is so his videos are they capture your attention, and he's such a likable guy. He's so young, and to be giving away houses and life-changing stuff. Yeah, he's really worth the watch. I discovered him like I said, a lot of the big YouTubers I discovered through their music, and Odd Ones Out has a song, "Life Is Fun," that was done with Boy in the Band, and he had been to end up in one of Mr. Beast's challenges for a paintball thing, and he's not athletic and he's not whatever. He's a cartoon animator, and yeah, so he had done this whole video about what Mr. Beast had put on, like a, it was like win $50,000 for be the last one standing in a paint gun fight, and like only Mr. Beast can pull off these events. That I mean, that was huge. So yeah, so yeah, after that I started like, who is this guy? And yeah, sure enough, he is very fun. I liked, there was one where he was doing a win an island, and just some of the silliest things like, all right, let me see your phone. I want to see if you're, subscribed to PewDiePie. And that was like a reason that you wouldn't win the island is if you weren't subscribed to PewDiePie, which I thought was like, what? So yeah, very fun. All right. At this point, pick a side. This side, I guess. I'm going to have to shift this around to work on that. So, yeah, he does a lot of great donations. There, you should see the thing he did about the planting trees. He got so many people involved in planting trees and started a whole fundraiser and stuff. And he actually got involved with a lot of other great big YouTubers. He wanted to plant like 1,000,000 trees or something. It was mind boggling. I watched him unload an entire grocery store and use everything that the grocery store had to replenish a food bank. Yeah, just yeah, Mr. Beast is outstanding. If you want to feel good about humanity again, he's the guy. Well, eventually, I hope to be, an awesome YouTuber that gives away his creations. It's uh it's a little hard because I'm still just starting out, but one day I will be that kind of thing. I hope. I kind of plan on it. Yeah, I would not doubt if he did. He really has a big heart. Um, Again, I have no idea how he manages to do it. I think a lot of people watch his videos because of his generosity, and he's got to be like making, the big bucks through the whole YouTube and sponsorships and whatever. But I think he almost gives it away as fast as it comes in. I think that's amazing. It's a heck of a quality. That is right. Thank you. You are absolutely right. And these are my early steps right here. And one day I will look back at it and think, wow, I can remember when I had that a little teeny tiny webcam and, you know, yeah, you're right. And to make progress, one just needs to keep moving forward. So, and I know that from projects like this wouldn't get done unless you tie another knot and then another and then another. So, so yesterday you were saying you have a daughter that's 13. Does she make bracelets yet? And it's quiet. That's one thing about when, like, having conversations with people that are on the other side where you can't see anything. You have no idea if they step away for a moment. All right. Almost up to the edge of this one. I'm actually pretty pleased with the progress. 45 minutes to have this joined together this well is actually doing pretty good. Ah, drawing and painting's good. One of my things to try to unwind because of the whole craziness around here with having mom as a dementia brought on from having had strokes and dad with his Alzheimer's is I've taken up watercolor as my outlet for trying to unwind and relax and, you know, it's fun. Oh, the braids. Yeah. My wife is the expert on the whole kumi things. Oh, it is? What is it? Oh, those things. Oh, those are cool. Is that, how is that made from? Crochet? That's cool. That's way cool. Wow. Well, if you miss it, you can always go back. Charcoal isn't like an expensive hobby, not like watercolors can be. Actually, you were saying that you were doing coding. I was after after the video and stuff was over, I was thinking about that. Have you ever considered doing some of like the old video games and stuff, like stuff from like the 90s when the computers were still mediocre? I would think that that would be a fun if you wanted to like challenge yourself, try to use modern code to do some of the other cool old things. There was a game back in the 90s I was playing up at Kinko's where you started out with one little city and it could either build a boat in 3 days or a tank in one. And you had to go and explore the map and try to conquer and stuff. It was awesome. Oh, right on. Time is one of those things that, yeah, I get it. It happens. I'm fortunate now that we have help to look after dad. Otherwise, I don't think most of this would be possible. And the thing with help is that where he sees me as I'm family, so he can be mean, she's not family, so he has to be nice. So it's actually a lot easier. The weather here, oh goodness, it is been raining since early hours of the morning and hasn't stopped all day, which is something new because typically rainy season just means you get a tremendous amount of rain for like 3 hours. There is no winter. It is, as soon as this rain stops, it'll go right back up to 32 degrees. And the humidity is like 70% or more. So you don't see a lot of things made out of wood or whatever. Everything's got to be like concrete or glass. So, yeah, things like wood and stuff get moldy and rot. And because it's just, it's tropical. It is absolutely brutal, except for right now. Okay, Google, what's the current temperature?
The current temperature there is 23 degrees.
It's 23 degrees, which is lovely, if maybe not just a little bit cold. I think that's what, 70, around 74 Fahrenheit for the Americans. But yeah, I did that in my head. I'm proud of myself. My wife just used the computer to look that up, and it's pretty close. Yeah, I've been spoiled. I went from Detroit, Michigan, which usually, does have winters and full-blown snowbanks to climb over and stuff, to coming here where it is endless summer. But for an example, it's been raining a lot in this last week, but we had one day where it just didn't. And of course, the temperature skyrocketed right back up to 32. And yeah, it's not easy. The humidity is rough on the fingers. It's really, you get like little blisters and stuff from the string getting moist. So you have to be kind of cautious. Kind of got myself past all that, but still you have to be cautious. See, that was fun. So what other questions do you guys have? I think there is a certain amount of lag between the when I ask a question and by the time you hear it. -2. Oh, oh, good lord. Wow. Well, plus side if you're looking for one is one of my other hobbies is knitting, and since it's so hot and humid here, I have a project that I never ever finished because once it got so big that it had to rest on my lap, that was it. That was game over for me. Because it was just get too warm. Yeah. I do find that -2 is better than a +2. And why I say that is at -2, anything that lands on you, you can, just brush that off. But at +2, it's rain, and that just penetrates everything and makes you colder. 5 in Japan. Yeah, see, that's not good. That's the temperatures where you really catch a cold. Yeah, 5 Celsius. Yeah, I know. That's what I guessed. I would, yeah. Because, again, if it's above 0, it comes down as precipitation as rain. It will penetrate like you're wearing jeans, right? If the water penetrates it, it will suck all your body heat right out of you. If it's 0, you can still wear the same jeans, and all the snow just kind of just comes right off. I know this because I used to have to walk about 5 kilometers to work every day, and some of it didn't have sidewalk, and some of it had sidewalk that the snow plows would plow piles and piles and piles of parking lot snow over onto the sidewalk, making it very difficult to get around. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and hello. I appreciate that. Yes, I too think it's beautiful, and it's coming along rather nicely. Kind of excited about seeing this one get finished. I really want to have it done by Friday. I know that's a big push to get it done, but we'll see. All right. So this pattern really kind of lends itself well to the idea of just working on a section at a time. As long as you're at the highest point, you can pretty much stay in one area, which I find is good because all these strings that I'm currently working with are already well untangled because I'm actually using them. And then when I go over to the next section, if I have anything that's a little bit tangled up or whatever, it comes apart and I just concentrate on that area. And it just kind of helps make things kind of flow along much, much quicker. Um, One of the hardest patterns to do that's kind of anti um, easy flow is something like a plaid, where it keeps alternating between going to the right and going to the left. That's probably the hardest. Aww, what what a cute nickname, Raptor Newt. Oh, clever girl. Very good, right? Yeah. Yeah. My wife's over here chuckling. So, this piece of plastic I have in here, I was talking about this earlier. It is about keeping the strings that are in the back out of the way and kind of out of sight, because if I accidentally pulled up one of the wrong strings and used it, for one, I might end up with a different count, which would throw off the pattern. But more importantly, it would stop the bag from opening properly, and yeah, it would just be bad all the way around. Nothing good would come of that. So just a little something. It was a cutting board that's really too thin for anything, and I cut it into strips to use for various things like this. Ah, that's cute. Yeah, I was thinking that, yeah, the Raptors are little mischief makers. I didn't think about the sound effect, but yeah, okay, that makes sense. Oh, wait, so you're using a phone. That means, okay, because that answers a question I had earlier. I wasn't sure if phone users could actually leave comments, so that's good to know. I receive this question a lot, but how did I, how did I start? Like, well, like years ago. When did I begin? Is that the question? Um, I had a girl teach me back in 1987. A girl taught me how to do these little candy stripe bracelets, and I was fascinated with the colors and all the things you could make with it. And I taught myself the rest because that was a long time before there was internet. You can actually, if you go to akaawol.com, akaawol, you can take a look. There's an area where it's the portfolio, and you can take a look. It goes way back. There's like stuff from the 80s. Back then, I was using like a regular copy machine and some color pencils. Yeah, learning with YouTube probably has a lot of advantages, I suspect, but it has maybe a couple disadvantages because um, a lot of the younger generation that is making bracelets, they only know how to do from the patterns that are already out there. Um, and that's a disadvantage because it kind of stifles some of the creativity where I can take a look at a pattern. I saw a basic picture and I said I could do that, and I ended up coming up with this. And that was just from seeing a photo on Instagram. So I didn't have to go look up patterns. I didn't have to do anything but just knowing how the strings work. And I do have my own graph paper that I use to sort out really complex patterns. But and that's why I try to teach it. That's why it's not that, I'm not trying to brag and say I'm better than others. I want to be able to teach the notion that if you see something that you like and you want to make it, then give you guys the kind of tools and the mindset that says, yeah, I could do that, because you could. Absolutely. I really honestly believe if you put your mind to it, you're capable of just about anything. So now I'm going to have to roll this project so I can get a little bit more to the right. Yeah, yeah. So, right. When Yeah, if you're kind of new to my videos and stuff and you haven't like seen the website and stuff and you haven't quite, I bet you it is a little bit confusing. Um, but that said, if you take some time and maybe check out some of the older videos where I kind of explain how the graph paper works, um, you could probably get it done pretty well. So, are you used to using the other patterns where it actually shows the little arrows that say, it's going to go to the left and then to the right? Uh, right on. See, if you have any of the old bracelets, I could probably help you to actually make the stuff. 3-inch bracelets. Yeah, if you have old bracelets that you want to have patterns made from, I can pretty much look at any bracelet and figure it out. It may take me a little while, but I can figure out just about anything. That's actually how I ended up learning the knots to go two directions, was because I swore that I could figure out anything, and somebody presented me with something that was way above my skill range, and I figured it out and taught myself something new. And from there, well, as you can see, I kind of went crazy with it. Yeah, my method is a bit different. I know even my patterns are a bit different. I don't I don't put down the arrows that show the change of direction, and I can explain why. Right here, we have two different color strings. We have the blue and we have the red. There's only 4 different possibilities of what could happen. In this case, it's just 2 going to the left. All right, so that way I end up with the red on the right hand side and the blue on the left hand side. I'm going to do that again because again the blue is just going over. When I look at my patterns, I look at what color the knot has to be, in this case blue, and I look at where does that blue have to be when it's finished. Again, to the left. This time it's going to be going to the left, and now the blue is going to be on the right hand side. So that means I just change, and boom, now the blue is on the right hand side. And that's how I'm able to differentiate without actually seeing the arrows. Well, okay, so 2 people talking here. Let's see, this is 20 years. I moved a lot since then. Yeah, that was unfortunate. If you find it, I'll help you sort it. And Tams, if there's a pattern that you can't do, um, if you have an image or something for it, send it to me through like email or whatever through my website, and maybe I can do a video of it. And maybe by you seeing me doing it, maybe I can help you to understand where you were getting hung up or whatever. Because I can do that. I'm always looking for like new ideas for like what I could teach. For a little while there, when mom had only had her first stroke, She was going to an activity center, and the other ladies that were there are all 60 plus in years. So um, I taught them how to make bracelets. That was a lot of fun. Mind you, we didn't get too complicated. We were sticking with candy stripes and chevrons. No, I don't use Bracelet Book. Couple good reasons. Um, I don't. There was an argument a while back. This is years and years ago, but I found out that Bracelet Book and the other web page that does bracelets, friendshipbracelets.net, were having arguments over whose patterns belong to whom. And as far as I'm concerned, there's only so many. There's only 4 knots that you can do in any given space, and there's color wise, my string comes in 447 colors. So that still means that as much as it seems like there's a lot of possibility, there's still a limited amount of what you can accomplish. And I never wanted those guys coming after me saying that I'm using their patterns and that, I owe some kind of royalty or something for using their stuff. So I kind of try to stay clear of it. I know that some of the patterns I do are in there because I'm looking at stuff that I saw on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. And if I see a pattern that I like, then I figure it out for myself. And that way they can't argue that, I'm using up their stuff or whatever. I just I don't want to be in whatever kind of headaches and stuff that they're creating. Mind you, I don't know how that whole situation turned out. I don't know. They could be great friends now and whatever. I don't know, but I just have this thing about not wanting people thinking that I'm taking from their work. That's why also I don't watch any of the other bracelet making YouTubers, because I don't want to use like their special effects or whatever. If I saw something that I thought was like, oh, that's so cool, I want to do that. Um, then I would feel like, that my fan base would be like, oh, you copied that person. Yeah, I trying to keep it original by just learning and doing my own thing. Thank you. Because I know that there'll be people who will copy me. It's that's I know that that will happen. Um, but that doesn't mean that I have to do it. So they may have something just as cool as mine, but I have the moral high ground. Not that that does anything for me. Ah. So yeah, I'm almost completed. So to me, this is like a segment. It kind of comes along um, where the pattern repeats itself, and that's how I kind of see um, like how I judge my progress. And when I get near the end of this bag, there'll be probably 2 or 3 segments. So the fact that I'm almost all the way through one segment is a good sign. Yeah. Yeah, right. So, yeah, so you're familiar with it as well. Yeah. And I'm not sure. I think Masha Knots is affiliated with one of the 2 sides. I'm not sure which one it is, but um, so basically, her channel is to help promote her site, right? Kind of like mine. I'm not gonna lie. I have akaawol.com, and I do encourage people to go over there and check out patterns or my tutorials, or even my shop. Um, but I know that my site is very different. I don't have a lot of patterns don't generated by other users. It's pretty much stuff that I've just come up with, and or like tutorials and stuff I've done. And It's not been up for that long. I think. When did we change? See, my webpage used to be about like links to things I thought was fun. When did we change it, honey? It's been 2 years?
Maybe.
Probably about 2 years that my webpage has been dedicated to just um, my knotting work. So, relatively young when you consider how long I've had the website. I got it back in 99, and early on it was just links to all my favorite places to go play on the web. Now it's like all grown up and professional. Like for me, being grown up is like this whole tremendous like, holy cow, am I really doing adult stuff? Whatever. Kid at heart, always will be. It got quiet again. I don't know. All right, more coffee. Oh no. What time is it? It is 10 after 9 in the evening. So, still early. What time is it there? It's Mariah? Mariah Smith. What time is it for you? Yeah, here the sun is already set. It's still raining. 8 in the morning. Okay, so you're East Coast, right? Is that East Coast? Eastern Standard Time? Because you guys have like, it would normally where I am, there's a 12-hour difference between East Coast, but come winter, there's that whole daylight savings time, which messes everything up. Yep, see? I came from Eastern Standard Time. So long ago. I don't miss it though. Mostly I don't miss the snow. I really don't miss the snow. I have a small like dent out of the bone in my elbow where I had slipped on some ice and I didn't have time to put my hands down and I landed square on my elbow on it was just a thin sheet on top of the asphalt and it hurt for at least 4 or 5 months and it still has a little dent in it 10 years on. So yeah, I don't miss that kind of thing at all. Are you where there's snow? It seems like so far everybody's been somewhere cold. Where's the Australians? Why aren't they here on? It's their summer now. Yeah. So you can see here. So I'm building up the larger squares where there's like 9 knots in the center. Yeah, it was terribly painful. It really, and there was nothing they could do about it. It was on the outside of the elbow, like out here. So It wasn't like it could be in a cast or it needed anything like that. It was just suck it up. There's pain. Wow. Yeah, 3 foot snowstorm is no joke, man. Yeah, we got those in Detroit before. That's, yeah, that's no joke. That's where, you know, traffic comes to a stop. Wow, you transfer around that frequently? I thought you just got to Japan, Revive Newt. I thought, wow, that's amazing. See, these kind of live ones are, I like making the videos, but I have to admit, these live ones are a lot of fun because it's like I'm learning about my audience as well as kind of learning about things in the world. Like, I thought that military people got sent to places for like a year or two at a time. I had no idea that could change or be different. Wow. So, as I was saying, these larger squares, the one thing I can say that I've been watching for is, so it started on a big square here, right? So this is like at the highest point, and at the lowest point, the lowest one will become the highest or the furthest protruding down at the bottom. So if that weren't the case, then I know I've done something wrong. And so I can see that this buildup is coming into this point. And as soon as I finish with this one, that's it for this particular segment. Oh, right on. Well, if you've been there for 3 years, I would have thought you would have sent the address where I was mailing the bag to. You wouldn't have had to have sent it to your parents in the U.S. Oh, I get it, because you didn't know when if you were gonna switch. Right. Okay. Now it's making sense. Little little brain damage in the 80s, possibly the 90s. So at this point, I will just close up these squares because it'll look nicer and kind of shows me that I'm done with that area. And then kind of concentrate over here. Not far away from having this whole row done though. Which, so if you're new to making really big projects, one of the things that I find that really helps is to have a pattern that, like this, where it repeats, you know? If you have something that just zigzags the whole way or chevrons the whole way, you don't get the sense of satisfaction of completing a whole band around the whole thing. And it's those little milestones that of having completed a small section that will give you the strength to say, okay, I've done one, I only need two more to go. And then I've done two, I'm already, 2/3 of the way, one more. And that kind of visualization can help incentivize and help get you through a bigger project like these are. Right. No, that suddenly dawned on me that if you were thinking you might be moving, that would be the safer bet. No, I get it. That makes sense. So yeah, I'm trying to make sure I keep my posture nice. Don't want to end up a hunched over old man. That would be bad. Actually, it's funny that you actually are in Japan. My hat came from Japan. Um, and I love this damn thing. So, and I had to go to great lengths to get it because shipping is bad. So what happens for military people if they um do, like for the mail? Do you have like a military PO box kind of thing that actually would find you no matter what if like you're in the process of moving, or do you have to make all those arrangements yourself? Because it seems like the military should have their own postal. Maybe I'm thinking that they do too much, but I don't know. Seems like it would be work. Yeah, that probably speaks to their whole level of efficiency and stuff. Guess that makes sense. So, neat. That's so cool. I get to travel the world from my desktop here. Fascinating. From the east coast of America to Japan to Hungary. That's amazing. I just realized. So, are you going to have your parents open up the package, or are you just going to send it straight away? Because if they opened it, then they could take photos and you could have a sneak peek. Or are you going to wait for the surprise? Follow up question: which do you think I would choose? That made my wife snicker. That was good. Right. See? Yeah. That's why I turned my exercise bike time into watching videos. It gives me a when I get to just do nothing with my brain is helping my cardio system. And then the rest of the time I get to work. Okay. I'm going to rotate this around just a little bit. So this easel I'm using isn't exactly perfect. I have a bar up above that's kind of out of the camera view that's sort of in my way, but it's not so much my way that I can't get the things clipped. So, all right. Oh, how is the resolution today? Out of curiosity. So far, it's telling me that I have an excellent connection and I'm should be at 1080p this time. Oh, I should take a moment here. Let's see. Change that and that. And these are my Patreon people that helps make all this stuff possible. You can come over and check me out. It's akaawol on Patreon. And even the smallest support, anything helps to put these things together. It's really, I don't have fancy equipment. I'm doing the best I can. So if you enjoy the content, um, a little bit goes a long way. I really do appreciate it. So, um, yeah, thank you. Oh, and thank you to Revised Newt. She is one of my Patreon supporters, an awesome one. So, again, thank you to you. Okay, back to nodding. Feel like that's like my sponsored segment there. Give thanks and hope that other people might take up the thing. Cool. Yeah, hopefully there is no lag, but if it is, I think it might be outside of here because again, um, YouTube is telling me I have an excellent connection. So I'm in the process now, going to get a video capture card and see if I can't use my camera that I have instead of this camera up here because this one is limited. It's a built-in cable and I can't move it around very much and it's doesn't autofocus. You actually have to tune that in yourself. Good. Well, that's the nice part about having people that come back. You can actually monitor the changes. I am trying to learn so much. I spent this afternoon um, getting some of the other sides of this bag done and watching some videos trying to learn how to use the streaming software better than I have been. Um, trying talking with a friend who has knowledge about Adobe products and stuff to see if I can't get something cool for the transitions. So I have high hopes. I really want to make this my career. Um, God knows I've made bracelets for more than 30 years. There's enough stuff in my head that I could probably do this for quite some time without ever having to go back to the beginning kind of thing. So, plus I like hanging out with, you know, hear, hearing what's going on with you guys, seeing what kind of things you guys make. I love that kind of stuff. I always say I have the best fan base because you guys, you know, tackle these big projects and stuff. I can't imagine, like, it really took so long before I ever thought about making a bag. I can't imagine, like, making something, you know, that complicated early on. I know, right? Yeah. Best fans ever.
Doggies come too.
You know you can actually comment in the feed, right? My wife's over here eyeing over comments, so. But she's also busy shopping, so best I let her be. That's the wisdom of a husband there. Don't bother the wife while she's shopping. Aww. Hang on, my wife's gonna want to read that one. Any news about puppies?
Yes, this is what I was wondering about.
Oh, then you got it before I did. Okay, so there is lag. She can actually see comments in the conversation before I get them. How weird is that? My wife and I are big on the whole no cruelty to animals stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Mind you, as much as I love animals, I don't think I could have a cat. Yeah. Don't let him hear you saying that. I don't want to get in trouble. He's a military guy. I'd probably get my butt kicked. Oh, and that's because of the shopping. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know. Mind you, it's not my view on the whole shopping thing isn't just self-preservation. It's if she shops enough and buys enough things, then I can always do the whole, hey, but you got all that stuff. Can't I just have this one little thing? So there is, motivations in there. Oh, fortunate that for the allergy, because cats are evil. I, yeah, smart sailors, they maybe he finds a different way of managing. Um, no, cats are evil. I can say this for a fact. I made a bracelet, a special commission bracelet. I handed it to the person in their home. And here you go. And she took it. And I don't know if the cat was like kind of eyeing it or whatever, but as soon as it was in her hand, seconds later, the cat was in the air grabbing the bracelet and bit through. I don't know how, but like tore into the bracelet like a good chunk out of the side. Just kind of tore it open, not like completely gone or anything. And ran with it. It took a while for her to actually retrieve the bracelet again. Um, and the whole time I'm freaked out. I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? And I was afraid I wasn't going to get paid for it because now it's destroyed. But gal was nice enough. She said, it was her fault. It was in her hands. So she still paid me for it. And I got another sale because she had to have me recommissioned again to make it all over. But the whole time just that cat, like what would possess it to just run up and destroy something? Yeah, it was, wow. So yeah, I don't see a cat in my future. I even slightly question having a dog as much as I love dogs, only because I want to be able to travel. My wife and I took some train rides, and I'd like to be able to do that again. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. So it's again, it's like kind of seeing the country, while you're moving along. Just we went through Malaysia, and that was a lot of fun. And then we had another one in Bangkok, from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, and again, it was just seeing how other people live, and it was relaxing, and I had a lot of good sleeping. Something the raptor would do. That's hilarious. All right. I have completed one whole band on this thing, and now I will start going into the next one because why not? I still have excellent connection, so might as well make the most of this. I did actually check to see if there was any kind of time limits for YouTube, and it turns out there is, but it's 8 hours. And I thought, geez, that's a pretty serious amount of time. That's a whole workday. So, pretty wow. So, when it comes to like this, for this pattern, I can make this one little diamond, and I kind of have to come outwards because there's nothing else can kind of move until these other pieces come into it. Oh, okay. Go put the little one to sleep. I'll probably be here for a little longer. Um, Preferably if people keep talking to me, but we'll see. Good night. So as I was saying, you kind of, when it comes to this pattern, it's about starting at the highest point, which was right here, and then at this point I have to actually bring in from either of the two sides. And since you have to pick a side, if you keep running with it, you can kind of do a whole chunk at once. So that's kind of helpful. So let's do that. So this was the darkest blue, and then it's the lightest blue is what comes right after it if you're going to the left. So 4 little reds, and then I start making the lightest blue diamond. And no, I'm not there yet, so it's not lag. Right. Yeah. No, I totally get the whole thing about having a pet and how they're wonderful for really, getting rid of your stress, and that I I'm all for it. But at the same time, I'm all for a pet having stability. I have fish, like a large fish tank in the living room, a little tank over to the side here with some shrimp in it, and a betta tank. And they don't, they really don't care if I'm not around. They're okay with it. And they still bring me a lot of happiness. I love watching the shrimp run around in their little tank. Um, it brings a lot of joy to me without having to worry about am I giving them enough attention, because they really don't care. Like As long as I give them food a couple times a day, everybody's happy. Plus, I can't imagine, like, if I was doing a video like this, what would I do if my dog wouldn't stop barking, you know? Um, I know for a fact that, like, some people, back when I was first starting to do the videos, my audio quality wasn't great. And I would get a lot of complaints. So I would imagine that something like that would just have everybody abandoning my channel. And I wouldn't want to have to discipline a dog for doing something that's just natural. It would just be really hard to have this. I'd have to like rent someplace away from home so I could like have the quiet or whatever. That's just not practical. So, all right. So I went as far as I could going to the left. Now I'm going to do this and go to the right. 3 or 4 30-gallon fish tanks. Right. So, wow, that's kind of a drag that they'd have to be taken down. Um, I have a 50-gallon tank in the other room. And it's relatively simple to maintain because I have a 20-gallon tank underneath it. And I used, um, well, basically, I have a siphon to a small box that hangs on the back, and that small box has an overflow that lets water go down to the tank down below. And on its way down to the tank down below, it goes through 2 flower pots where the roots of the plants are helping to purify the water. And then down below, 20-gallon is working as a big filtration system. And then there's a pump that pumps the water back up to the top. So, with all that, it means that if the power goes out, the water level will only drop as far as that level is in the small tank in the back, which is fine. And then when the power comes back on, the pump works, the tank level rises up, overflows into the whole rest of the thing all over again. And because it's set up the way it is, I have a mass number of shrimp, and they pretty much get rid of any kind of algae or anything else. And the rest of the fish are just guppies. The little guys just breed like crazy. So there's a whole bunch of different kind, and they've all made mutts of whatever breeds they were. I've just found pretty colors and tried to see what would come of it. And it's gorgeous. It's super relaxing. And my mother-in-law, who had suffered a stroke, she seems to really enjoy it. So I keep it up for, if for no other reason, because she enjoys it. So, oh, and because I have it set up the way it is, if I turn off the pump, I can drain the bottom tank with a hose just straight from the fish tank to the bathroom. And then I can fill up that tank down below again. So my hands aren't ever actually in with the fish, which, means that they're not getting all stressed out or whatever. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's it's definitely not what you get taught at the pet stores. Um, I had fish tanks back when I was like 14, no, younger, 12, 11, 12 years old. My mom got them to try to help with anxiety issues. And um, I learned a lot and kind of saw some of the stuff that they do with like saltwater tanks and whatever. And I'm lazy. If there's an easier way to do things, I will find it. Just like this, right? I have an easel sitting on my desk. Why? Because being able to clip to a board that's sitting on an easel is one of the easiest ways of making bracelets. I could do other things, um, but finding a method that works really, really well and uses as little effort, um, I'm all for that. And that's part of what I'm trying to teach is how to do it for yourself and how to do it easily. You know, no pain, no efforts, no whatevers. I think if you actually search my channel, there might be a video somewhere of my fish tank in it. I was trying to get one of the YouTubers that does stuff about fish tanks to notice that my methodology is different and yet it works really, really well. Okay. So now I'm at the part where the dark blue gets to put it's a 2x2 square. So yeah, making really good progress here. Rather pleased with myself. So hopefully sometime next week I will get my video capture card and can even increase the how well this whole thing looks. We'll see. My fingers are crossed. I hope that it's does what I think it's supposed to do. Pretty excited about that, by the way. All right. Now the one thing about this pattern is once I bring this part out, I can't bring quite everything. So then I'll start to rotate it and I won't get to the other side done until I've come all the way around full circle. So just part of how it works. It's kind of neat. So it was 3, 1, 2, and then this will be the 1. And I won't be able to do the next big 3 part until I've come around, I believe. I might have to try to change how I have this lit. I noticed that there's a lot of shadows. I think I can actually maybe improve how the lighting works here. It's something I can strive for next time. Actually, I might be able to do it now. Let's try. Let's see if that's any better. I think I just nudged the camera. It was kind of doing a wavy something there for a moment. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah, it looks a little bit better, I think. All right, now bring out this blue one. Okay, well, hey, thanks for coming by and hanging out with me as long as you did. That was awesome. Thank you very much. Have yourself a great morning. I feel like this is in a bit tighter than I had it yesterday. See if I bring this back just a little bit. There. Maybe now you can kind of see a little bit more of my handwork. I try not to make too much of a point about how I hold things because I think that everybody needs to kind of have a feel for it themselves. Because if you're not comfortable, you shouldn't probably be doing it. I know that there are some people who can hold the bracelet still with their hands and still not. I don't know how they do it, but I know that if I try it, my knuckles hurt. And doing that for too long would cause me too much trouble to even try it. So I don't recommend that. Cool. Glad you're still here. Well, now I'm curious, what are you having for lunch? Are we going healthy this time? I definitely appreciate that. Even if you can't watch and you're still just hanging around, that's helping the whole YouTube algorithm to say, hey, you know, I'm worth watching or whatever. It's helpful. Every bit helps. Definitely appreciate it. And it's nice to know that there's somebody there to talk to. Like somebody at least is listening. Definitely appreciate that. So I built out the whole little area that was the inset here. And this is about as far as I can go. I could kind of tease out a little bit over on this side, but there's no sense in it if I'm going to continue over here. So one of the ways I keep from getting my string all messed up is I take the area I'm going to be working in, which is essentially this right here, and move everything else off to the side. So that way I only have a little amount of string. Little is relatively speaking, but just a small amount of string to have to actually concern myself with. And like I said, this will probably, I'll do like 3 segments on this one with some small pieces at the end to create the base. And I will probably try to do that on camera. I don't know when exactly that'll happen, but it'll be sometime this week. And I'm going to try to shoot for the same time frame. It's a bit too early for some of my Patreon people that are in the US. I understand that it's the early morning, but unfortunately, the only way to get around that would be for me to be up until 4 in the morning, and I just don't have it in me anymore. I have a medication that puts me right out, so I have to take that every night. Oh, honey, take a look. So my CPU is running harder this time at 72 plus, but my frames per second is solid. It's not changing. It's 30 frames per second every single time. That's pretty cool. Fish soup, pork meat with french fries, and homemade ketchup. Ooh. Well, no, that's fascinating. I never realized that ketchup could be made at home. I guess that makes sense. Just never heard of it. Never heard of anybody actually doing that. So good for you. That's awesome. Oh, what happened? Something just happened. It says YouTube just sent me a message saying that is not receiving enough video to maintain a smooth, but the computer still says it's doing awesome. Why would that have changed? I don't get what happened here. So suddenly my stream health has gone to poor. My computer's still running at the same. Is our internet taking a hit? Huh. We are almost at the 2-hour mark, and it is telling me there's a problem. So, can you take a look and see, does it look laggy?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it's been 2 hours. I have no idea why suddenly after I was just bragging it seemed like everything was running really, really good. I think it's not the computer this time because that was, I could see yesterday when it would drop below the 30 frames a second, and that seems to be holding up just fine. So it has to be my internet. So I'm terribly sorry, but I think it might be time to call it a night, or at least for the video portion of it. Thank you, Brigitta, for hanging in there. I'm sorry. I hope you have an awesome lunch. Anybody else that's still there, thanks for having stuck with me this long. I had a really good time. And to all the people who come and watch this from other days or, you know, some daytime other than right now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video as well. And, well, until next time, don't get your strings in a bunch. Ooh. Oh, wait, if I wait a few more seconds, is it going to count as a full 2 hours? 54, 55, 6, 57, 58,